Um, would upgrade the current tank you have, you'll notice that it's insane. It's a lot. And why are all the best tanks always far from you? Now, some folks get lucky and tanks are right in their backyard and they're able to get exactly what they're looking for and things work out great. Take this tank here, Allentown, New Jersey, 330 gallon acrylic tank. Says tank was built by Midwest Customs Aquariums with external overflow boxes, 30 inches tall, powder coated metal stand. It has polycarbonate lids. Tank is currently empty, waiting to be moved from a first floor. Sump is not included. But tank, stand, acrylic. Now, this acrylic obviously is going to need some work. And for all I know, you might be able to clean this without even doing any buffing. But it's a 330 gallon tank. And it's $1,600, which is not bad for that size tank. And it being made out of acrylic. And it coming with a metal stand. That is awesome. But it obviously is not anywhere near me. This is probably about a 6-hour drive for me. Now, I've driven for tanks, so don't get me wrong. But a tank this size, you're going to need a vehicle. I don't have a pickup truck, so I would need at least to rent a vehicle that is large enough, like a U-Haul or a U-Haul pickup truck or something like that. Drive it there. So now you're putting some more cost on top of what you would normally spend to get the tank. Now, by and large, $1,600 plus whatever it's going to take you in gas and rental to go get this tank is not a lot in the grand scheme of things of getting a tank like this brand new. You would be looking at considerably more. So the time factor of 6 hours there, 6 hours back, that's 12 hours, as well as you're going to need some people to either go with you or follow you. If it's a pickup truck, a lot of the ones you rent are single cab, so you can get two gentlemen to ride with you, but you're going to need at least another or possibly two more. I mean, this is a heavy tank, so you're going to need some people to go with you. So there's a definite challenge in getting any people that have 12 hours of spare time to go with you to do this. So this is not an easy move, but they're out there. But then sometimes things are just, a little bit too much as far as the price. But I'm seeing some great tanks that are just not near me. And I don't know if this is something that people come across quite often. Now, this isn't far from me. I'm in upstate New York. This is about an hour from me. And, but this is only a 120 gallon tank. And I'm not sure what's going on with this reflective material. If that was added, it looks like it was. Looks like it was something put on after the fact. So I'm not sure if this is got the black border around it, but not sure what that is. I'm not a fan, but it's only 120 gallons. And if you're looking for a 120 gallon tank, then great. But if you're looking for something bigger, I put in here 240 so that it gives us tanks that are bigger, but obviously it's going to bring up, anything. Now, this is right in where I live. This is 180 gallons. It's $900. This isn't bad. It's been up for 6 weeks. It's a 6x2x2 180 tank, willing to trade for a mini bike or moped. So if you got a moped, you're golden. You can just swap this right out. Now, I'm not sure if everything in here is coming. I'm not sure if he's including, I don't know if that's an FX6 or an FX4 or something like that, but if he's including everything, that's not bad. It's hard to tell with the glass. This may just be water stains. It just may need some cleaning. So you may get this home, clean it up, and it look just fine. What I am concerned about is how long has it been empty? It's not good for tanks to sit empty. Sometimes they sit empty like that and you fill them up and they start to leak. So you would need to spend $900 on this, bring it home, fill it up, obviously, and let it sit there for a little while to see whether or not it holds water. But that's not a bad buy. $900 for a fully, we got lids here, We possibly a filter and possibly a stand. This is not bad. I would try to offer them maybe like $700 and see if they'll take it, but this is not a bad buy. And it's bigger than my tank. I only have 125 gallons. So I don't know if I want to go up that small. I think I might want to go at least 240, but you know, it's not the end of the world. Here's another tank. Now they're asking 3,000 for this, which is more than I want to spend, but it is a good tank. This is a 340 gallon tank. It's big. It's 10 feet. It's got a stand. I'm not sure if they've got salt water in there or not. I don't think they do, but they could. Once again, the problem with buying a tank, you don't know what the condition is going to be. If it's coming with everything in the picture, that's great. It doesn't say that it's coming with everything in the picture. Here you have a tank, 350 gallon. This tank is overstocked. But that's a story for another day. This is $350 to $465. I'm not sure of the size of this tank. They didn't put anything here, so you'd have to contact this individual. This is not a 125. But you'd have to reach out to them to find out. But a lot of these tanks, sometimes they look like they're in good shape. Sometimes they look absolutely ridiculous, and you're like, what is going on here? But most of the tanks that I'm seeing here are much further away. Here's a 210 gallon bow front, not a size you see often. I'm not a fan of bow front tanks. I think they look great, but I'm just not a huge fan of bow front tanks. Here's another bow front here. Custom acrylic aquariums. I'm not sure what this is about. Okay, so it looks like I don't know if he's building these or why is it frosted like that? I don't know what that's about, but 120 gallon, 180, 240, 240. So he's got a 240 gallon tank. I'm not crazy about the width on this one here. I like the width on this one, $1,700. When I say width, I meant to say length, 48 by 48 by 24. That's a wide tank. Not very tall, but definitely deep. This is more akin to what I like. I think fish like to swim back and forth, and they like the length. If you can get better than 6 feet, awesome. So this is $1,700. I don't know if it comes with. This is in Yorktown, which is not too bad. I'm looking at probably like 3 hours. I am interested to know if the tanks are new, if he's building these tanks, or if these are tanks he's owned, what the condition of the acrylic is. So once again, this is someone you'd have to reach out to. It says builder, so I'm imagining that they are building these, but that's not a bad price, $1,700. You're still going to need a stand, so you would need to reach out and see if that price includes a stand and a tank, or if it's just for the tank itself. Now, I have purchased tanks online before. Here is a photo of a tank that I purchased online. This is the stand. I purchased the tank. It was 125 gallons. It came with the stand. It also came with some filtration that I didn't use, but it came with it, as well as some rocks, which were absolutely horrible. But I didn't feel like arguing with the guy, so I just bought it. And I had been debating between a 150 and a 125. So here you can see a 150 and a 125 in a pet store, a local pet store, and you can see the difference. They're the same length. They're the same width. The 150 is just taller. And I really don't think fish are utilizing this area unless you've got an arowana, which would probably, spend the majority, 90% of their time right up here. So you could get away with having some mid dwellers, some bottom dwellers, and some top dwellers. It really depends on your stocking. Some people like the 150's height. It gives a very large viewing panel, which is aesthetically pleasing. I do as well. What I don't like is what is involved with cleaning. Any of you guys that have taller tanks, especially 200-gallon tanks or 150, you realize that there is a lot of armpit wetness happening. You need to either stand on something or get used to the fact that it's very difficult to reach the bottom, or get a step stool or something of that nature. This allows some really easy going cleaning. So that's why I opted for a 125. So this is not the 125 I purchased, but this is the 125 I did purchase. And I painted the stand black, and I was not a fan of the brown. It's just so 90s, even 80s and 70s. I'm not a big fan of the faux wood look. I thought about painting that as well. I thought about taping it off and painting it. But as I'll show you from some other video, there were some problems with this tank. And even though it came with lids, the lids were, not in great shape. They were broken, and not broken in the sense where they have a crack or anything. They were broken in the sense that they just didn't have they weren't connected anymore, so you couldn't just fold it back and open it. You had to kind of slide them to the side, or take them off completely to be able to get to the tank. And this was my attempt at, I'm gonna keep this bare bottom and whatnot, and I was using my pump to empty it out. But this is when I was getting rid of the tank. I had decided, you know what, I'm gonna let this tank go. I'm just not a fan of everything, so I was taking everything off of it, and I decided I was just going to sell this tank. It just wasn't worth it anymore. But as you can see, there's that original cabinet. I did spray paint that cabinet. And the problem with spray painting anything is, it starts to chip away. So I would have needed to spray paint the cabinet again, and I just wasn't a fan. This is the tank I replaced it with. Custom built stand. The glass was clean. The tank that I got rid of had a terrible scratches all over the tank. It just was absolutely horrible. And there's that stand again. I don't have the pictures in any particular order, but there's the stand. The wood wasn't terrible, and it matched the tank, but I was trying to jazz it up a little bit. And this was after I had painted it and taken the stand out of the house. The tank had sat up here already and everything. So this was when I was getting ready to sell the used tank that I had bought. So it doesn't look as good as it did when I first painted it. It looked much better. Here's the tank. I was cleaning it out for the prospective buyer, getting it all ready. And here you can really see the scratches. So that's something you got to look out for on Facebook Marketplace, or any time you're buying a used tank. You can get the size you want, and it may hold water. It may be great, but what you're going to run into is obviously the condition of the glass may not be what you want. And like I said, when I went to go pick this tank up, when I bought it, I was really impressed with how well the glass looked. The glass looked awesome. It was in great shape, and the pictures posted showed the glass. So it just was a really good find, a really good buy. And I couldn't be more happy with the fact that I had purchased something that was actually going to work for me. And there's the stand that, once I had the stand done and was done staining it, it looked great. Need to make another stand. That stand is heavy, by the way. It's a very heavy stand. Now you can get really good tanks off of Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, or just at a garage sale. I mean, this tank, like I said, I showed you the pictures of it prior to setting it up, was in good shape, in good condition, and it really was much better than the other tank, which had scratches like I showed you before all over the tank, and they just used to irritate me. The fact that they were scratched all up, and there was nothing I could do about it. I tried buffing them out of the glass, because some people say that you can get it out of the glass using a bar stool and really fine sandpaper. There's just nothing, and I got tired of researching different ways to try to do it. But this tank is great. Now there is a scratch on this tank as well, and I don't even know when this scratch that I'm showing you showed up, but just one day it just showed up. So it may have been my fault. Those magnets that you can see right there are definitely not your friend. But sometimes, and there's another scratch that you could see just above it. Small scratches, they start showing up. And I had gravel in this tank. And what happened is a piece of gravel got stuck in between the magnet. I don't know how. And it caused those scratches there. And so I switched it out to sand because the sand wasn't going to really scratch the glass as well as that magnet was. That magnet, oh, it really irritated me that day. And I haven't really used it since. It's just been sitting there. I probably need to take it off of the tank because I don't use it anymore. But now, whenever I look at the tank, obviously all I see is the huge gash that was added by the magnet in the gravel. So I want to find another tank that looks this well. But most people, when they're selling their tank for whatever reason, send me a video like this, where I can see the tank in action. I can see that the glass is clear. Even if I see a scratch on the glass and it's one like the one I have, I'm fine with that. I can get over that if it's the right size tank. If it's a 200 plus gallon tank, 300 gallon tank, or what have you, I'm all right with that one gash. What I'm not fine with is a bunch of small micro scratches all over it where it just looks like somebody took a wire brush and just went bananas on it. But if I can see into the tank nice and clear and it looks good, because usually I'm going to put a tank like this in my living room. If it was going in the basement, fine. If it was just being used to house some fish in the basement, even though I still want it to look good, I can live with that. But if I'm going to be putting this someplace where I'm viewing the tank quite often, then I want to have footage of the tank that shows it in a better light. And often what you have is tanks up for sale that look absolutely horrible. As you saw when I dismantled the tank that I got rid of, and then you can see from this side view, the glass looks good, right? No scratches, except for the ones that I showed you. When I first put the tank up for sale, I cleaned it out. I cleaned it very well. That's why it was outside. I cleaned it, got it all set up, and I took photos. Those photos I was showing you were the photos I posted. I posted the stand so that they could see the nicks and scratches of where the tank used to sit, because I wasn't going to repaint it. They could see the tank, and they could see those micro scratches. I made sure to get it from an angle where those micro scratches are present and visible, so that there's no issue. And if someone wants to buy the tank with those conditions, it's not a surprise. They don't have to drive very far to see it and realize that. So a lot of people, you reach out to them and you're like, hey, can you take better pictures of the tank? And they almost get offended. And you're trying to explain to them, I need to know if the glass look good. You're asking me, and right here you can see those scratches. And once again, from the front, you can barely make them out. I just know they're there. So here's a tank where I did correspond with the gentleman. It was the 360 gallon acrylic tank, which is $700 with this homemade block stand, which I wouldn't use. I would just build another custom stand, but it's a big tank. It's perfect. It's 8 feet long. It's 3 feet deep, 2 feet high, or vice versa, but it's 8 feet long. And it's acrylic, so it can be buffed out. So even if there are scratches, it can be cleaned. But I would need to really take a good look at this tank, take a good look at the lids, go see it in person, and make sure that it is as nice as it appears. I'm taking a look, and he's obviously got quite a few tanks for sale, so it's not focused, very heavily on the 300 gallon tank. But this is a 7-hour drive. So we're talking 14 hours in total to get this tank. The weight of the tank is pretty heavy. You're going to need a couple of gentlemen to go with you to get this tank. And you're going to need a large vehicle and a follow vehicle. And I would say at the very least, you need at least 4 to 5 guys, depending on their size. And, You're going to need some suction cups if you don't own any. I mean, and you may be able to do it without suction cups, but I wouldn't want to move a tank this size without suction cups. So this is a lot of work to get this tank. Now, this price can't be beat. If this was in my backyard, or maybe even only an hour away, this would be an awesome buy, right? This would be perfect. It would be an hour away. It's a lot easier to get, gentlemen. But I mean, having people drive 7 hours with you, the price is great. Like I said, it's difficult on Marketplace trying to find something that works for you. It just really is. It's not easy to find tanks that give you what you're looking for, and it's not easy to find tanks that are at a good price that are close to you. So I'd love to know what your success has been with buying tanks on Marketplace. Obviously, if you're in a bigger city, you probably have tanks coming up all the time. This tank isn't far from me either, but if you look at it, it's a 74 by 21 by 25, so it's a good sized tank. But tank has a leak. And some people are great with sealing. I don't want to spend $500 to experiment on sealing. Now, this might be a good tank to buy if you're getting ready to build a plywood tank, because you could use the glass from it, right? You could build a pretty long tank and put viewing panels on the front, on the sides. I mean, you could repurpose this glass. Here's another tank, 244 gallon tank. Like, clean the tank, for Pete's sakes, if you're going to put it up for sale. I really don't understand why people don't clean the tanks that they're putting up for sale. It's really annoying to have to reach out and say, hey, how's the condition of this tank? And then people say, tank's fine. I mean, can't you see from the pictures? And you just want to smack fire out of them and go, come on, man. You're asking me for some really, you're asking me for something, money. Give me some more information. $180 for $180, and I get it. Comes with a canopy and comes with a nice stand. A little old fashioned looking, but you can take your time, sand it down, restain it, or paint it black, or whatever you want to do with it. Here's another acrylic tank in Petersburg, Michigan. Once again, I'm not sure how often tanks come up in your backyard, but if you have time off of work and you've got the right size vehicle and you're willing to drive, the world's your oyster, right? You can go get whatever you want. So there are lots of tanks, and I'm seeing the prices come down a little bit. At one point, prices were insane. I was like, what are people drinking? They were charging what you would, charge in a pet store for a brand new tank. And it's like, why would I pay you what it cost me to buy a new tank? It was really bad. So, we got this tank, a 200 gallon for 125 gallon for $200. But then we've got this tank for $700, and it's a 125 gallon tank. I don't know why they think they should get that amount. And maybe it's because it's coming with the FX6 and a FX4, which are not cheap. Let's see. Yes, it does. Selling a 125 gallon tank with 2 canister filters, all set up and ready to go. They just don't have time to maintain it. Tank needs a good cleaning. Comes with everything you see. Fish are not included. Asking $700 or best offer. So actually, I don't feel like this is gouging at all, because a tank is going to run you about $400 to $500 in the pet store. He's selling you the lights, the lids, the tank, a stand, and 2 really good filters. I mean, we're talking almost $400 for the FX6 alone. So I think this is a good deal. So he's not gouging. But I've seen 125s for $700, and it comes with a Aqua Clear or something on the back. One. And you're like, what are you drinking? So the prices have started to come down on used tanks, and that's good. And you also have to look at things like, Let's see what's going on with this tank. This tank is in really good shape. It's nice and clean. As far as I can tell, there could be more pictures and better pictures, but these pictures seem to indicate a pretty clean tank. But there's not a lot of information. Tank, stand, and sump for $1,200, and it's $125. I don't care that it's drilled. This is too much. And I understand stands are expensive, but you can build a stand. $1,200. This is nuts. So I'm sorry. That's just overpriced. It really is. And I may be wrong. And the person may be watching this video. Comment below. Doesn't bother me. 1,600. Let's see what's going on here. 6 foot by 18 by 20. 125. This tank tops stand sump pump. You can build a sump. It's just another tank. You can buy a cheap 40-gallon tank or even a 20-gallon tank and make your own sump. This is too much. $1,600. What are they drinking? What are they drinking? Wow. I don't know if this will sell for that, and I'd be interested to know who pays for that. It's not a hobbyist. It's somebody just getting into the hobby that is happy with being robbed, because that's exactly what would happen. This 150 for $300 is not terrible, especially if it's coming with everything here. In good shape, needs a good cleaning. Only selling because I'm going with a smaller tank. Comes with tank stand lids. I'm not sure if it comes with a filter. It looks like I see some FX equipment inside of there, so maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. But the tank and the stand for $300 is good. That's a good price. What's going on here? So, other than the fact that he's got some fish that are going to definitely outgrow this tank, that bass is going to outgrow this tank. He wants $1,250, brand new, not even a month old, FX6. Okay, so he's including an FX6 and everything you need for the tank. Can use a new light on the left side. I'm using a 20-gallon LED light since the other blue. Comes with fish as well. Well, if I were buying this tank, I wouldn't want the fish. That's just me. Someone else may want the fish. I wouldn't want the fish because they're gonna. It's hard to tell what's in here, but I know these two are definitely gonna. He's gonna be too big for the tank. He can live in this tank. That looks like an Oscar. That looks like some type of Vieja. The Vieja and the Oscar can live in this tank. That peacock bass is going to get too big. I would imagine the power heads are coming as well. I still think $1,250 is too much. If you're trying to recapture what you spent on a tank, you're being greedy. It's just too much. It's just too much. What else do we have out here? Here's another 700 gallon. Now this tank, come on, PetSmart. This is the PetSmart tank that was for sale for four and some change. Came up about 500 all in. Just bought for $1,100 2 months ago. Unfortunately, don't have time to care for the fishes. Comes with everything needed to operate: pump, filter, heater. What type of pump? What type of filters? I'm not sure. 700. First of all, why'd you pay 1,100? And who knows what else he bought with it? I'm just talking about the tank and the stand. I saw it go up to 500. I'm not sure what it comes up to now. Let's go to PetSmart and take a look. All right, so PetSmart is currently selling it at $6.99. So it has gone up from what it was. It was like $500 all in at one point in time. So it is $6.99. I'm still not sure where he got up to over $1,000. What he's offering does not include $1,000. There are some other hidden costs there. There've got to be, or he's just trying to make money off of it. I'm not sure. But once again, that's way too much. If he's asking, oh no, he's asking $700. I'm sorry, I misspoke. I remember him saying he spent $1,100, which I think he's lying about. But $700 is more like it, with it being the price it is in the store now, and the fact that he's gonna give you, heaters and whatnot. That makes more sense. Let's see what else we have here. What else is out there? We have a 150. You know what? Let's take a look at 300 gallon and up and see what we see. And I've got it set for 500 miles. So we got a 300 gallon custom fish tank here for, yeah, okay. Um, we've seen this tank already. We've seen a couple of these. So there's not a whole bunch of tanks that are out there for sale right now, but there are plenty of 200 gallon tanks or larger that are up for sale. Here's a 180, $4,000. And right now a 180 in the store is 9,999. So this $4,000 in a stand, long as the glass is intact, is fine. Where I have problem is when the tank is in pretty crappy condition and they're asking. I'd rather spend the extra money to get a tank that I know has been taken care of. So here's in Gadsden, Indiana. Here's $1,000 300 gallon acrylic aquarium. Why is this stuff never in my backyard? I swear. And while the condition on a lot of the acrylic tanks look terrible, but I know acrylic can be cleaned. It can be buffed out. It can be cleaned. The problem is the amount of work that I have to do to get this looking like it did when it was new is a lot. Aquarium acrylic with 2 FX filters, 350 gallon tank. Let's take a look. This doesn't look horrible. I'm not crazy about the dimensions though. 72 by 24. So this is a very deep tank or a very tall tank, and I'm not trying to clean that. Here's a 215 for $1,500. So there are some pretty, good sized tanks out there that are up for sale. My suggestion is always try to find a tank that's been up for quite some time. You can often see, here's a 610 gallon Peninsula style fish tank that is up for sale. It's acrylic. Doors on both sides. The dimensions are in the pictures. Comes with stand, canopy, stump with sump motor, and total tank. 7 foot by 9 inches, 40. So that's not a bad price for this size tank. I mean, if you can find it cheaper, great. But that's not a bad size tank. I mean, you can house almost whatever you want in this. The length isn't great, so no, you can't house anything you want in this, but you can put some pretty big fish in here and get away with a lot of stock, and that's not bad. That price isn't bad, and the tank doesn't look like it's been not taken care of, so I would be inclined to try to get this if it were closer. $500, 125. It always amazes me that you'll put 300. Sometimes I write 300 gallon fish tank or 200 and whatever gallon fish tank like I did earlier, and it just does not give you. It's still going to bring up everything. If the word fish tank appears in the ad, it's going to come up. This is interesting. This is very interesting. 100 gallon fish tank table. Wow, that is interesting. I have a custom made corner dining table fish tank. Wow. I would not want it, but it is definitely interesting. It's a nice novelty piece if you're into that type of thing. I like, why? Let's see what else we have here. $500, very similar to that tank. The guy up top says he paid $1,100 for, and he's paying. Is asking $700. But here we have. This is not far from me. So if I were looking for a 125, this is not a bad buy. This is not a bad buy, at all. I mean, I sold my used scratched up tank for I think $400, stand and tank and all the stuff that had come with it originally. And I bought the other tank for $500. It was nice and clean, and it came with an FX4, so I was fine with $500. What else do we have here? Look at the age also of some of the tanks that are up for sale. Wow, is this like multiple pictures put together or something? Or no, this is just a big tank. 400-gallon custom aquarium. So it's not very wide, as you can see. Made from Brazilian rosewood. Because I was going to say the wood looks nice, though. Brazilian rosewood. Yeah, you just you making sure they understand. This is Brazilian rosewood. It was commissioned for a doctor's office. He paid $23,000 to have it built, but when they tried to get it into his high dollar office, it wouldn't fit. So that's how he ended up with it. Approximately 12 by 8 feet long, 24 inches deep, 30 inches wide, 5'6" tall, biofilter. I would get this. This is nice. 12 feet long, though. Where you going to put it? And it's not, I hate that it's not straight. It'd be great if this was 12 feet long and just a straight shot. This is, I'm not crazy about that. And this would be a lot of work to move. I would love to know how he got it in here and who helped him get it in there. But that's an interesting looking tank there. Not for me, but some of you watching might enjoy that tank. Here's a 180 in Aurora. Look at this. This is what I'm talking about. The tank is clean. It's not like, oh, I just took it down 5 minutes ago and I took some pictures. Nope. This bad boy is pristine. I would get this. I don't know if I would pay $4,000 for it, though. I'm just talking about the image, not the price. But this is how you should be able to see the tank looking good. Now, here it is, obviously filled at one point in time, but here it is, nice and clean, custom made 180 fish tank with hood and stand. Has numerous lighting displays and plays sounds as well. Tank will need to be broken down and fish rehomed as well. Large Oscar, numerous cichlids. Yeah. The picture is this is worth a drive. If you were going to have to drive 2 or 3 hours, you'd want the picture to look like this first before you made the journey to get there and go, I don't want it. At least now, if you drove and you got there and for whatever reason, I still would request a little clearer picture. I mean, we got better. You can do it better than this. But this is good. This is better than most of what I've seen. Okay, that leads me to believe this is a well taken care of tank. What else? Let's see. This is a mess. I'm not even gonna click on that. That's gonna make me say stuff. Another bow front. A lot of bow fronts. 75s. 155 gallon bow front. So, we're narrowing down. And obviously, I'm sure if I take it out further than 500 miles, we'll probably see even more. And I'm sure I've seen this tank a few times. It's been up for a while. 48 weeks ago. I'm right. It started at $1,375. He's brought it down to $1,200. I would bet you could get this tank for $1,000. But this is a big puppy. This is 36 wide. That's bigger than most doors. Some people got them houses with the double doors and all that. This is wider than my house doors. I measured. This would be tight. This would be really tight. It's a big tank. That's not a bad price, but I don't want a tank that wide. I do want a tank this big, but not that wide. I would want it to be longer and not as wide. Although 36 is good. A lot of turnaround room for fish. I had a giraffe cat that would have done great in this tank. But yeah, it's just too wide. But that's been up 48 weeks. So some of these tanks have been up for a long time. So I'm not there's two things. When you see a tank that's been up that long, you might be able to get a deal. The other thing is when you see a tank that's been up that long, you may not be able to get a deal because they've got the room to store it. They're not worried about needing to get rid of it. They can hold on to it, obviously, for quite some time. It might just be sitting in a basement or empty garage. It could sit there for years. Here is a $4,000, 180-gallon acrylic aquarium fish tank, sump water pump stand. So, look at those. Those Fernantosas in there. Yeah, I just got stuck on that. That's nice. That's real nice. Tank looks clean from the pictures, and listen, This could be when the tank. This could be a picture sent by the manufacturer of the tank. For all I know, it's sitting on a forklift. So this could be false advertising here. Who knows? This may be like before they sent it out. But this is obviously at home set up. Look how good acrylic looks when it's clean. Oh my gosh. Whew. Yeah, that looks good. That looks good. I like the lids. The lids fit nicely. There's no warping up here. There's no yellowing starting to happen on the lids. It's been taken care of. It's not, and it comes with this nice sump. $4,000, I would still try, and it just got listed 3 days ago, and I'm sure he paid a lot because trust me, I've gone on some of these websites to look at ordering a custom tank, and they are not cheap. So I would let this sit for a little while, just to try to get it. I don't think I would pay. If I'm going to pay $4,000, I'm just going to order a custom built glass tank with low iron glass and just make payments on it. Once you start getting into that kind of money for a 180, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on there. I would need to talk to the gentleman and be like, come on, give me your reasons. He don't have to give me nothing, but I would ask. That's going to be there for a little while until that price comes down. Nobody's paying that. 1,600. Let's see. Also an acrylic tank. 1,800 for everything, but I'm willing to separate. I have coral, sump, and all the plumbing. So it looks like he's just trying to sell a complete setup with live rock, coral. It ain't the greatest looking tank, tell you the truth. The tank is nice, but I mean, the inside ain't making me want to buy all of that. It's not like you looking at this beautiful dream of a tank that he's got, and you like, oh yeah, nah. So I think that'll change as well. So we've taken a look. And, go on your Facebook Marketplace. You've probably seen some of these tanks, but I just thought it would be interesting for us to dive into the cost of buying used tanks and how expensive it is now and how it just takes a lot of money for this hobby. It's not a cheap hobby. And when you come across deals, you almost got to jump on them. Like that 180 up there. I may contact that gentleman and see about trying to get that tank. But I'm kind of feeling like I'll get the 180 and want bigger. Although a 180 and a 220 to me are the same size. One is just taller. It's just like, to me, a 150 and a 125 are the same size. The numbers sound great. Oh, 25 more gallons of water. That, in my opinion, and the type of fish I keep, are not going to be used. That 25 gallons is up top and it's not going to be used. I want width more so than height. The 180 I like because it's wide as a 220, but not as tall. So that is great. It would give me a little more footprint for the fish that I have, because I don't want to keep anything over 12 and 14 inches anymore. But I think I want an 8-foot tank. Where I have my tank, I've got room for 12 feet. So I would love to have an 8-foot tank. My father-in-law has a longer than 8-foot tank, and it looks absolutely amazing seeing the fish swim that distance. It's perfect. I think he's got almost close to a 400-gallon tank. It's like 3 something, but yeah. So thanks for going on this quick look with me, and until next time, chime off in the comments. I'd love to know what you think about buying used tanks and what successes you've had with buying used tanks. Let me know. Until next time. Be strong. Be strong.